Alright, so this is a Mikuni jet ski carburetor, and we're going to be demonstrating the pop-off test, which is one of the most critical stages in doing a carb rebuild for these Mikuni carbs. Essentially what we do is we block off the fuel return line and also the pulse valve, so that we're just putting direct pressure into the carburetor from the fuel inlet. We're using a radiator pressure test kit. It's just a little hand pump that goes up to about 60 psi. So what we're going to be doing is filling this carburetor through the fuel inlet with compressed air, and we're going to try and get to a spec of, I believe, 25 psi or somewhere around there. So what we're going to do is start pumping up the air, and then this valve should potentially lift and skirt the air out. And also another tip is we just kind of lubricate the base with a little WD-40 to simulate the gas to give it a tight seal, and he's going to start pumping it up now, and we should see a purge or a pop off at around 25 pounds.
25 of them died.
There you have it. So this will be good to go. It's releasing the pressure at proper PSI. So thank you. So another thing that we forgot to mention was you have your needle valve here, and it's controlled by this lever. Below this lever is a spring. We have a few of them here. In the rebuild kits, they give you several different springs which should help the carburetor pop off at different PSIs. By switching and adjusting the spring, you'll have a higher or lower PSI pop off rating. However, we were having the issue to where no matter what spring we put in, it was not getting a good spec. So we ended up trimming them with the diagonal cutters, and you just take off a little bit at a time, like 1 or 2 rings.
Just a little bit.
And then you put it in, test the PSI, and then you could also stretch or pull on the spring slightly to get it back into spec if you take too much off. But a little goes a long way.
Yeah, so take a little spring off, do the pressure pop-off test. If it's too low, then stretch out the spring to give a little more pressure back into the system. By doing that, you can hone it into, I think we were going into, what, 25 pounds?
25 pounds, yeah. And that's across the board for all 3 carburetors. So.
Is that right, Blake? 25?
25 to 30 is the sweet spot.
All right. Let's go make some waves, boys.